How one monkey can stop the flow of time in Super Mario 64. If you had the ability to stop time, would you do it? What sort of things would you do within a world that stood completely still? Super Mario 64 is a game where, quite honestly, anything seems to be possible. The amount of time that the community has sunk into this game, dissecting its inner workings and breaking them down into a science, is incredible. Some of the most entertaining videos I've ever watched were based on this game's logic. Some noteworthy memes have exploded from this space too. But there's one exploit that I want to talk about for a while now. And it sort of goes hand in hand with some topics I covered many years ago about Mario in general. And that is the ability to stop the flow of time itself. This is the time stop glitch of Super Mario 64. So, I hope you enjoy. Back in the early days of my channel, I used to dive into the lore surrounding the world of Super Mario. From the story of Mario's grandfather, to the mysterious paintings in the castle and their connection to EGAD's paintbrush, to the concept of preserved worlds and frozen moments in time. When the idea of stopping time in Super Mario 64 is brought up, a lot of people immediately assume tick-tock clock, since you can essentially freeze the clock in place. But in that case, the environment is frozen and the enemies and objects in the level are not. One could argue that every star itself is a frozen moment of time too. It's the reason why we can go to Womp's fortress and fight the Womp King, only to return to find a giant tower built in its place. But we can always go back to before the tower was built. And this instills the idea that time is sectioned off, and we have the ability to turn back the clock if we choose to. But these two concepts could be argued as intended time freezing. These are functions the game doesn't hide, and they are accepted parts of the world. But let's talk about unintended time freezing, because a certain set of actions can actually freeze the world in its place, and many players have actually experienced this normally through gameplay. Now obviously, if you pause the game, the world around you simply stops moving. Mario and every object is locked into place until the game is unpaused. But there's another action in the game that does something very similar. Anytime Mario opens a text box, the world around him freezes in place. The only things that aren't frozen in space are Mario and the object he's interacting with. So if we read a sign, every object around Mario gets held in place. And once we are done reading that sign, the world starts moving again. Same goes for if we run up to Koopa the Quick in Bob-omb Battlefield. His dialogue will start, and in this instance, both Mario and Koopa the Quick are the only two objects not frozen in time. We finish this conversation, the race starts, and time resumes. So basically, we can think of time as a switch that can be turned off and on. However, the game is designed to finish this loop so that the time flow is always turned back on after it is momentarily turned off. Much like pausing the game, at some point things must be unpaused. But it's actually the interruption of this action that allows us to enter a glitched, frozen world. And this all has to do with the fact that text boxes in Super Mario 64 will normally not appear on screen until Mario has touched the ground. So, going back to Koopa the Quick, you could honestly jump away from him the moment he tries to talk to you. Perhaps even try to fly away. By doing this, Koopa the Quick is activated, but he cannot talk to Mario until Mario lands. At this moment, the world is frozen, but once Mario lands, Koopa's text box will pop up, and time will resume once the conversation ends. This delayed text box is the key to freezing time, but we need a different application for it to be frozen completely. We need to cancel the sequence of events that normally transpire when text boxes are called upon. And to do this, we're heading over to Tall Mountain in the Japanese version of the game. We need to use the first version of the game to ever be released, since by the time we got the English version of the game, this glitch had been patched. The earliest example of this glitch I can find online is by a user named Toyuro2, who was executing a task run. Based on the video, it seems the glitch was already common knowledge for task runners. Mind you, this was uploaded in 2012, which is quite a long time after 1996. There had to have been a reason why they patched this back in 1996 though. So it's definitely something that was discovered a long time ago, not long after the game first launched. The glitch is still preserved in this version of the game though. After heading into Tall Mountain, we need to make our way up to the monkey who can take Mario's hat. Normally, if we grab this monkey, our hat immediately appears on their head. Mario must then run after this monkey to get it back. If Mario grabs this monkey, once he stands back up, he'll begin talking with the monkey, who will then give him his hat back. And it's this cycle that we can break. Similar to Koopa the Quick, and how he waits for you to touch the ground to start talking, this monkey does the same thing. But because of the water nearby, we can disrupt this. If we dive at the monkey at the right time, he will take Mario's hat, but we will land in the water. At this point, the text box is already queued up and waiting for Mario to land on the ground. But because he's floating in water, it does not trigger. If we jump out of the water and touch the ground with the monkey, the text box will pop up and resume the normal flow of events. but time is already frozen, waiting in anticipation for that to happen. So instead, we need to drop the monkey by either letting go of him in the water or going off the waterfall. The switch for the text box is still hit, but the trigger for the text box to appear can no longer occur because Mario isn't holding the monkey. Thus, the game gets stuck in limbo and time freezes across the level. So what happens when time is frozen? Well, quite a lot. For starters, all the waterfall noises are gone. The music in the level still plays, but the constant hum of the waterfall doesn't happen anymore. All the Goombas down below at the start of the level are gone. They still exist in this location, but visually cannot be seen. Coins can be collected, but they don't disappear when they are acquired. This is because nothing in the environment will update until the time stop glitch is resolved. We are able to hit the block too, but afterwards we can jump right through it. The box itself will stay frozen until the flow of time resumes. The Monty Moles are invisible, just like the Goombas at the bottom, and so are the Bob-ombs on the ridge. We can actually grab a Bob-omb from its current position, which makes it appear in our hands. Attempting to throw it though will set the Bob-omb to that location. It's basically like throwing a clone, if you've seen other Mario 64 enthusiasts do that before. We can pick up this Bob-omb again and put it wherever we like. When we decide to resume time, the Bob-omb will then load from that location and walk back to its normal walking path. Chuck-yas are extremely dangerous when time is stopped because we cannot see where they are. Some of the footage you'll be seeing in this video was created only to offer a visual representation of where the enemies would be when time is frozen. In reality, I can't see anything. But touching a Chuck-ya can cause Mario to get stuck in Chuck-ya's grab. Since Chuck-ya is frozen in time, the throwing animation never happens and we cannot escape the throw. Mario is basically stuck here forever unless we quit the level. We are able to move Chuck-yas too, and wherever we throw Chuck-ya, that throw will occur once time is unfrozen. Lots of objects that are not part of the actual map geometry do not work when time is frozen. But despite time being frozen, the subscribe button still works. Crazy, I know. The rolling log, for example, cannot be interacted with, and Mario simply falls through it. The rolling cannonballs are frozen in place, but we can still take damage from them if we interact with an area associated with them. The cannon down below doesn't exist, because it can't be triggered. So we can fall into the cannon pit and touch the bottom since the game can't start the cannon sequence. We can grab a frozen star and exit the level, but where's the fun in that? Now that we've messed with some things, we can go back to the monkey and grab them. They respawn back up top, and as soon as we grab them and exit the text box, time resumes. The Chuck-ya we threw earlier is thrown off the bridge. The coins we got earlier disappear as the box breaks, and the Bob-omb we set by the Monty Moles begins walking back. Unfortunately, he dies on the way back. F in the chat, fam. At any point, we could have also resumed time by reading a sign too, since that action still completes the sequence of events that the monkey dialogue would have. Overall, this is a very strange trick in the original Japanese version of Super Mario 64. Playing around in a frozen world kind of feels depressing in some way. I don't know, there's just some weird existential feeling to it. But anyways, I hope you learned something new today. Subscribe for more videos just like this one, and I'll see you all soon. Cheers!